top team yet either on land since they picked up Bondic. So we'll have to see what they can do here. As again, I am expecting big things from him and Oscar.
Yeah, the experience they have had with Bondic will be quite limited, but let's see if that's going to be an issue. Jumping straight off into the pistol, Oscar, the man we were talking about earlier, a definite explosive fragger for the side of HellRaisers, trying to kick things off, but he won't actually be the one to do so. Styko, unfortunately, getting taken down by Naf as well. Stanislaw backing him up as they try and get that entry towards the B-bomb site, but now they do slow things down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they got control of A halls as well. You could see Mixwell and company, I think that was Rush with them being able to clear that out. That's kept people in place over at the A bomb site. You can even see that they've rotated pretty deep in there. They're both over here towards the long, so their rotation can be quite long to B. If Optic actually hits now, they're going to get a pretty nice little 5-on-2 attack before a rotation can really set in. You can even see another player beginning to cheat off as well towards the door, so they're in very passive positions here. They do have the range with the USPs, but there's a big numbers advantage here for Optic coming into the site.
Oh, look there we go, Zero with the 2 immediate shots. Fantastic stuff. The bomb will begin to go down as well. Angel was going to come over to try and help out his teammate, but it's a little bit awkward. The angle's not really favouring too much. The tap comes in, and Oscar will be able to help out Angel to get that frag over on towards Naf. Stanislaw, though, he's had enough of this and wants to try and regain control of this bomb site with the backup of Daps as well, just firing off a warning shot, making his presence known to try and delay the push from HellRaisers. They slowly skate their way up to try and retake. Angel comes in with a shot. Daps will retaliate, but he's still got one more man to do with. The new guard, Bondic, over on that side, just playing around the fountain, has to go a little bit aggressive here. Who's going to land the first shot? Tapping away. Absolute panic from either side, but Daps is going to do it, and the pistol round does go to Optic.
Yeah, I mean, they played that really well, great control of the map to be able to fit into that B-bomb site. I have to say, Zero did step up there and deliver 2 really nice frags. He gave his team a chance to win the round, but in the end, Daps wins a 1v1, and that's another thing. A lot of people criticize Daps for his individual plays. He's the in-game leader, so he gets kind of a free pass on a lot of time, but I know he's been focusing a lot on DMing and trying to get his aim up to speed, and in online plays, numbers actually have improved, so I'm curious to see if that will also take place in this event, as they are going to go in a 1-0 lead now. Of course, HellRaisers will force buy up some pistols and armor. Optic Gaming, you know, pretty similar setup to last time, putting a little bit of presence over here towards mid, but most of their focus is going to be on the B hall. Zero will get boosted up. That could be a spot that could deliver a couple of frags if unchecked. So we'll see how that's going to play into it here, as Optic, again, just taking it very slow, very characteristic of this team.
I feel like there's a risk factor behind this as well with the buy that Optic gone for. Obviously trying to go for the cash injection with the free SMGs. Could that be a slight hindrance to them potentially?
Not really sure. I mean, I think a Mac 10's pretty safe. It's only a, you know, 1,050 investment. You know, you get 2 kills, it more than pays for itself. And of course, you can even carry it into the next round as well. So I think it's actually a pretty smart purchase to have a good balance here. The Galil investment can catch up to you, though, in round number 4. If you can't upgrade those, it can kind of put a little bit of a burden. Force you to probably play a little bit more aggressive in the opening gun round because of that. But we'll just have to see if that's, in fact, what does take place. As again, Optic definitely not, you know, looking to, you know, be hasty here. Definitely taking things nice and slow. Dats alone over here towards the A halls. Maybe just trying to hold people in place because it is going to be a B execute, but there is 3 players stacked inside that bomb site.
Pushing up around towards Oscar right now, but that isn't going to be the main player. It's going to be going down towards that B-bomb site. That smoke actually going in very late. Nice hold of utility for HellRaisers, not using that early on, so they have been able to zone out Optic for a few more seconds. The spam coming in from Daps as well, trying to land that drive-by over on towards Angel. Not coming out too well, and look at this, Oscar in a fantastic position to go huge there, but he gets immediately dispatched by Rush as they glide their way over his head like an acrobat. Angel finally coming into the fold though with a headshot on towards Daps. Wants to try and follow it up, but it's not going to happen. Stanislaw spamming him down with that killer and the follow-up as well. Wants to try and turn it into the hat-trick, but it's not going to work out too far in his favour. Zero does finally come in. It's going to be short-lived before he gets picked off. And there is the final man to go down as well. Styko hitting the ground. And Optic pick up that second round. Interestingly enough, though, losing 3 of those weapons and only being able to get away with the 2 Galils.
Probably not the clean victory they were hoping for, but they do, in fact, dodge a little bit of a bullet there, being able to wind up with the round in the end. Being able to sniff out that B bomb site stack and redirect over to A. Oscar had a great opportunity to cut them off. Didn't quite happen, but they still made the round close. We are going to see Dats buying back into that Mac 10. Nafly actually just on the 5-7, not wanting to do too much with money. Same with Stanislaw. They know that money's tight, so they don't want to go too heavy-handed into this and not be able to afford the next round. So they will once again be looking to pressure into B, but Styko, he's gotten the first kill, but Mixwell does trade it back.
Yeah, great stuff there to kick this one off. Daps as well coming in right now as he just holds towards Skylight, wants to try and find a frag, but he's not even going to need to. His teammates are doing all the work for him. He will eventually find a couple of kills with that Tech 9 though, and it is just left on Oscar. He's an absolute monster for his side, but this is a ridiculously hard task. He really shouldn't achieve anything here and should be dispatched very easily. We'll just try and peek out. Invested nothing into the round. Actually, he was able to scavenge a Mac 10 and repurpose himself a little bit here as he backs off and just tries to reposition.
Yeah, so he could get a couple of kills with this Mac 10, maybe rake up a few extra dollars, make it a bit easier on him to get an op in the next round. But Optic surely should have the round at this point. 3 players left, bomb down on B. much time has already passed. They will be moving into the opening gun round with the 3-0 lead. Again, Oscar is hoping that he can catch an exit, but no one's going to come his direction, it seems. So Smack10 won't come into play for extra money, but still, of course, HellRaisers enough money to buy in the next round. And this is where things are getting more difficult, because if Oscar has the op in his hands again, we saw him at the MLG qualifiers just looking like a beast, and he's done it in all the online play as well for HellRaisers. So that's going to be definitely a guy that Optic are going to have to play around, but Mixwell will have the op right off, so we'll see if we're going to see any duels at middle or long B or something like that.
This the ball is coming in. We will see that AWP donned, as you said, and he is a very effective powerhouse when he has that weapon in his hands. Let's see if he's going to go for that pick towards side, potentially going very aggressive early on. There is going to be 3 men hanging around at mid, so an option for him to actually get an opening frag if he plays his cards right here. Mixwell does have the angle covered if he goes overly aggressive and could punish him for it.
Yeah, it is true that Oscar's very A-heavy with the op, particularly in these long hauls. So if Optic did in fact do a little bit of demo research over the past couple weeks, granted it's been very small sample size, very limited play online since this pickup, but that is something that maybe Optic will have a read on. Mixwell actually looking for the long A push, so he's definitely aware of it. Optic balancing it out, wanting to try to get control of both areas of the map as much as they can before they make any decisions.
We'll go for that mid-smoke to try and allow Mixwell to get a pick here as he works his way through. He will set fire to Matrix as well, so no one can actually go for that push through, and it will block their vision a little bit. Tiptoeing around now. Mixwell does give the game away as he goes for that opening AWP shot to just try and alert them of his presence.
So far, all is quiet. No kills or damage being dealt just yet, as we see Optic just trying to work control. They do get control of mid-room and danger, but there is a double setup here at long A, so this is a good trading position here for HellRaisers. See if they can pick up on it. There's Oscar with the kill, but Daps with the trade back. Oscar missing some shots, giving Daps a chance, but he pulls out the pistol, grabs the kill, gets the man advantage back. Oh, and a 2-for-1 for him. There you go. First round with the op, already with the quad kill. Maybe he could even ace.
I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous, and that's just the Oscar we expected to see as well. An absolute insane player. Styko comes in for the wallbang headshot as well to finish off Naf there.
And that's a bad first taste to get if you're Optic. Oscar dealing that to you right away. Big round there for him. They had an opportunity to trade him out at long A, and that could have made things much different, but instead the players come up mid-slope, just fall at the same time, and HellRaisers take the opening gun round. And Optic, they will force up what they can here. It does include a Galil and a Tech 9 and pretty limited utility. So this could be a bit of a dice roll, but they're hoping to reset HellRaisers' economy here and get them into a saving position.
Oscar trying to go for this mid-pick. Could potentially be overwhelmed if we do see Optic going for that aggressive play, but nothing has been done just yet. They've made their presence known, then opted to just back off the back of the audio cues. CTs are aware and have repositioned to try and counter this. It could just be a bit of a ruse if they want to go for that late round B, and it seems like they might be trying to set up for it. Styko in this elevated position, though, does have an angle over the smoke. Going for the spam right now, but he isn't going to be able to connect any of those flurry of bullets into any of the flashbangs that are waiting on the other end.
So gathering up behind the smoke, seems like they want to explode on this site any second now, but they will run into Stiko, who's normally going to be playing this platform. I'm going to put a nade in there. Not going to do too much damage. Optic do gather up any moment now. They should be looking to do this. Here come the smokes and flashes, so here comes the execute.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to flood their way into the site, but is Zero there to patch it up? Will he be a good enough plumber, or will he be picked off? Styko as well, trying to back him up, playing around the fountain right now perfectly. Hasn't given position away just yet. Comes in with a spam, will get the first one. Tries to get the second, does eventually do so after a bit of a struggle. But then he's going to get taken down. His teammates luckily on the scene, trying to regain control. Angel gets that frag on towards Daps. Mixwell luckily will be able to get the bomb planted. Peeks out, tries to put off a few pot shots, but couldn't quite take it.
Yeah, so well done from HellRaisers. A great hold on that B bomb site, just always staying ahead in the trading game. 2 kills there for Bondic as well as Styko. They will get the defuse. And now Optic, even with the bomb plant, probably aren't going to have a whole lot to work with here. Could see them potentially look to take a save here just to make sure that they can get, you know, full firepower and utility into the next round. So HellRaisers is a great opportunity to tie this game up here now. Which again, this map usually leans towards the T side. So if HellRaisers can keep even with Optic throughout their CT side, it's going to really set them up in a good position going forward.
Yeah, you can go for that really aggressive sort of style of play and set the pace of the game, especially towards that B-bomb site where you can burst out obviously towards Olaf and coordinate it with the drop-down attacks at the same time to really maximize your damage. Oscar with a nice flick, but unfortunately couldn't quite land it, and that is an amazing shot coming up from Stanislaw, somehow being able to annihilate him. Ridiculously juicy. Angel also goes in for a piece of the pie, but won't receive anything before he's picked off. Bondic trying to be the last line of defense right now to hold them off as they barrage their way out to that A-bomb site, but he can't quite do it. Mixwell as well on the flank, made his way down drop-down, was eventually discovered by Zero and picked off. It's just on Rush and Daps now. They're not looking too healthy at all, and they are trapped in a bit of an awkward position. They want to try and just make their way up to the site, but it's going to be a struggle right now as they just tiptoe past Wood, waiting on the site. Bondic can strike at any moment. Daps trying to see if he's going to go for an over-aggressive peek, maybe gets a little bit too confident and pick him down, doesn't quite spot out his leg, but Daps will be seen. The tag comes in. There's the follow-up Molotov as well to try and force them out of position. Rush luckily has been able to get himself in a bit of a more advantageous spot towards mid, as he just slowly creeps up, spots the angle, but still can't land these shots on towards Bondic. Still 50 seconds left on the clock. They have time to play with, but it's going so very hard right now. No one giving them an inch to play with. HellRaisers playing this so smartly. They have no reason to go for these peaks.
Not at all. Rush trying to move in and find something. He probably knows Bondic's stuck in the corner at this point, so he's trying to angle himself into a position to frag so Daps can get in and plant the bomb. And there is the frag from Rush, and Zero on the balcony trying to stop that bomb play from going down, but Daps picks up Styko now. So all of a sudden, Optic have a chance to win this round. They've waited it out long enough. The bomb will go down, and Zero, he's going to be stuck in a 1v2 retake situation. Now, both Optic members are low. What's he going to do?
Just waiting right now, biding his time to see if the people come out. He will be able to get the opener, spams down Daps, but he's still got to deal with Rush. In that elevated position, has the high ground, trying to look away, will spam in, dances him around the feet, but he still couldn't quite connect the shot. Zero goes for the peak and is able to best him, and the defuse will come in. But I mean, what a crazy round. They're really going down to the wire. They had no real chance at that point. HellRaisers playing it perfectly, and it all just went so far south towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's crazy that they got that far in the round with such little investment, a bomb plant, taking out 4 of HellRaisers players and forcing all those rebuys. But on the other hand, it's a round that they could have won, as they did have a 2v1 post-plant situation. But you could see Zero was able to bait some bullets out of Rush, get a perfect idea of what the angle that Rush had, so he could pre-aim out and gave him the advantage to win the duel. And so you do see the round going over to HellRaisers in the end anyhow. So they tied up the game 3-all, but here's where Optic with that bomb plant and the saving should be able to put together. Oh no, they're going to go for a Tech 9 buy again. So actually, I guess they wrecked their economy a little bit harsher than I thought. So this is actually going to set them back a bit. So it looks like they're going to be doing some type of Tech 9 rush here onto the B-bomb site.
Oh, and Styko as well. Perfect weapon for this to just embrace everyone that's going to run into his waiting arms so he can spray them down with an absolute hailstorm of bullets coming out of that P90. The smokes will go over. That gives the game away, but the Molotov and the timing is just slightly off for him. Could be caught with his pants down, trapped to the corner, absolutely blind. Tries to fight through it. Will eventually get one frag on towards Naf. Has to switch out to his secondary. Goes for the pop flash. Will he go for the peak and be able to get a frag? Slightly blind, but everyone else is more blind. And unfortunately for him, it's not going to work out too well. Stanislaw finally recovers, gets the headshot. His teammates come in to start doing the damage for him. Daps now all on his lonesome. Oh, actually gets tagged down through the smoke as well, and Oscar to finish him.
So HellRaisers will take the lead as Optic were forced to kind of take another save there, but now they should be able to get back onto the buy. AK's out across the board though, so no op for Oscar, but he's a capable rifle. That's one of the reasons Optic got him, but so far HellRaisers has been playing like really well. Zero's been up there doing things. We saw, you know, Oscar obviously had the big quad kill round with the op on the opening gun round. So, you know, it seems like the HellRaisers guys have guys like Styko and Zero, and of course the guys that you expect, firing on all cylinders at this point. So this is good news for them on their CT side. Oscar gonna get flashed out of the mid room here. Just one player here from Optic working this side of the map. The rest gathered up at B lobby. So it seems like they want to be able to do a B execute with full guns this time around and see what they can do. So that means a lot of weight's gonna be put on Rush's shoulders. He's gonna be the guy that has to open things up with Mixwell to make this B execute work, if that's in fact where they're headed. But look at Stanislaw in this new lurking role, being able to get up mid-slope, so much room. He might even be able to get into the door and split this B-bomb slide. And if he can get behind one of these players, that would be devastating.
Oh, this could be absolutely insane. Stanislaw playing this perfectly right now. Just biding his time as he stealthily wanders round, spots out Oscar, but he isn't going to go for the frag. This is amazing. Trigger Patience finally will take the shot and blast his head all over the place. Bondic trying to get the double kill, but it's not going to work out for him. And this is horrendous for HellRaisers right now. Their bomb site has been just taken out of their hands by Optic. They want it, and they're taking it with force. Nice headshot coming in from Mixwell as well. And the artist with the AK, Stanislaw there to land the final shot towards Angel.
And it's just HellRaisers taking a very B-heavy approach. Basically, the only A presence they had was at long, so mid-slope was right for the taking. Stanislaw able to sneak through, grab a key frag on Oscar with the out, taking out like such a huge impact fragger right off the bat, not giving him a chance to get any vision on a player, and then just being able to pinch the B-bomb side. So cleverly done there by Optic. But, I mean, are HellRaisers going to have a hiccup like that again when they let a player through? Probably not. So we have to see if Optic can actually go toe-to-toe with HellRaisers on a round where, you know, they actually have to meet some resistance.
Yeah, it was crazy that they were given that much breathing room and map control to actually find their way behind for that play. Really just shut down the entire defense of HellRaisers from inside.
So we do see them splitting up this time around. We see Optic often wanting to do these types of defaults where they are getting control of A halls and middle, giving themselves all their options. As Daps and Stanislaw will be over here towards the B-bomb site, the rest looking to try to clear along A halls. Oscar was there, but has already backed off. And of course, this is a round where HellRaisers don't have too much to work with. Styko just on a 5-7, just an up here on Bondic. So this is a round where Optic do have a clear advantage when it comes to equipment value.
Timing really is going to be key for Bondic there, depending on that peak when Daps does find his way down, drop down. UMP obviously a very effective weapon with the armor penetration, but it's going to be quite hard if Daps does actually get the drop on him. Slow stuff right now. Oscar playing this close angle. He's been so effective so far, but will he be able to keep it up as this mid push does seem to be unfolding very shortly? Everyone just setting up right now. The smoke's going out to try and zone out Angel, but luckily he's taken the initiative, just charges straight through it, doesn't give a damn. He finds the opener, but here's Oscar, the man we're talking about, unfortunately isn't able to land even a single frag. Will be dispatched by Mixwell, and it's just left on his two teammates, Zero and Bondic. They're not in really favorable spots. They're trapped, surrounded, dazed and confused and paranoid about where the next peak will come from. Daps finally has been biding all of this time to go for the peak. He will do so and gets the frag. Looks like he wants to go back for more. He's absolutely bloodthirsty, but Zero has had enough of this and will pop his head.
So Zero going to look to save this M4 into the next round, as money is going to be tight with HellRaisers forcing up that round. So it's important that he holds on to this. Optic knowing that, going to go for the chase, and they will find him immediately. Stanislaw with the headshot there. So Optic now going to take the lead. They're up 5-4. So they're starting to get their act together here, but HellRaisers, they're just a couple of rounds away from still having a really good half on this CT side and making things difficult for Optic. Of course, this round should be a bit easier on Optic as HellRaisers are just on a couple of P250s. This is a round that you need to win, and you need to do so without having to do rebuys.
Yeah, they really have to just try and drive their way through right now. Aggressive flank coming out from HellRaisers as well. I like to see this once again. Trying to spice it up a bit as it's been quite standard. And you really can't play these ecos out like gun rounds. They are going to get a little bit overly aggressive. Oscar just going for the slight arm face right now so you can peek out, see if anyone's going to be there with the shoulder pick, but no one will be on the receiving end just yet. They begin to disperse.
Again, just spreading out, looking to see if there's going to be any pushes or any aggression. They don't want to run into any type of bomb site stack or fall prey to any type of gimmick from HellRaisers. So just keep with the same pace we've been seeing all half. Just very cautious.
Yeah, it's been a very slow half from Optic as well. They haven't actually overly gone for information plays to try and draw out real smokes or flashes and cause HellRaisers to actually waste utility. It's just they've been going for this very slow default where they just chill out and then go for the late round strikes that seem to be working against HellRaisers, even though they do still have the abundance utility left behind.
And again, that's just characteristic of Optic. That's how they've been for quite a long time. You know, they are one of the more slower paced teams from the NA scene next to a team like CLG. So not surprised to see them like this, but now they finally will be committing to this B execute, Rush putting out the smokes, and they will begin to spill in. There is a stack here with 4 players and a quick flank behind, so this could get a bit dangerous.
Yeah, there is potential for this to be a fantastic play from HellRaisers, but let's see if they can pull it off. Not aware of Zero's positioning right now as he just hides his way up on top of a tree, but it's not going to matter. He eventually gets his head knocked clean off, and it just comes down to one man, Bondic. He was coming in from behind, but now he's dead.
So the stack dealt with quite effectively from Optic. Don't think they even lost a single player on the round, so good work there. We can see the team playing pretty well. Rush has actually been kind of quiet. This is a map where he needs to be big on those B-bomb sites, I think, if they're going to continue to be successful, but the rest of the team seems to be doing pretty well, and they've still been able to keep Oscar off of an op for even longer, so that's good news there for them. But, of course, some capable riflers here on HellRaisers can bring this thing right back, so this is a pretty important round for both teams. Who's actually going to take control of the half is Optic. They're wasting no time. They're rushing right to the B-bomb site.
This really could be a great way to throw off HellRaisers as well. Not used to this overly aggressive style of play. They find their way into the bomb site, but eventually do begin to get shut down. Bondic coming in with the 2K. He's just hiding out right now. Has been able to keep his life, but not for too long. He eventually does receive a bullet from Stanislaw and gets put down. It's all on Oscar, a 1 versus 3. He's just going to be biding his time right now, playing around the smokes. He tiptoes around, checking all his angles, absolutely terrified about where the next push could come from. Daps. He's got such a big angle here. It's a prime position. Should be able to dispatch him with 1 bullet, but unfortunately the timing, that is ridiculous. Fumbling, gets caught with his pants down and will be picked off by Oscar.
And now he's played himself into a situation where he might have a shot at this. I mean, if Optic play passive enough and waste enough time, he does not have a kit. I'm not sure if there's even one around to pick up. So they could just win off the clock. We'll see if Oscar can do some more damage before going down.
He has been able to recover that kit, as you said. Just waiting for the peak to come out. Stanislaw will greet him, but luckily, it's so very low, 2 HP left, but it's not going to matter. He still does eventually find that frag, and this is looking like a very solid half right now from Optic.
And that's a good read from Optic. I mean, knowing that HellRaisers is probably not going to have enough money to really have the utility to stop a long B push, you know, the counter smokes, the incendiaries, to stop a play like that. Very much like rushing the outer yard on train. You know, when you don't have the utility to stuff that choke point, you can get out there and just aim battle. And hope that you can out-trade. And Optic it got a little bit dicey there at the beginning. There was definitely some good holding going on there from HellRaisers, but eventually they do overwhelm them. Now they're up 7-4. They have HellRaisers back onto another save, and they will slow it back down, looking to see if they can extend this lead even further.
Low stuff right now. Once again, Optic returning to that other style of play. It's been working very well against HellRaisers. They're not really overly sure on how to counter it and have been struggling on the site takes as well. Interesting enough as well, Oscar actually backed off, giving complete control of side over to the Optic Gaming lads as they begin to make their push up. They will greet him soon.
Rush with that Map1, understanding the money game here, looking to see if he can't build up some bonus cash with that. That's why they're using him out front in all these different angles, checking all the close corners and just, you know, making sure things are safe and looking to see if he can't get some dollars for it.
Yeah, playing that scout role right now as he just could go in as a sacrifice, just wandering around trying to see if he can get an opener for his side. Unfortunately, Daps is going to go down. Mixwell follows suit as well. Stanislaw finally begins to recover the operation, and Rush as well, the man we were talking about, goes big with a 2K. It's going to be a nice little cash injection going into his bank, and it's all left on Psycho. Not in a great spot, really, as he pops out. He does have to reposition right now. Still 100 HP, he hasn't taken any damage just yet, but he really can't afford to as well. Only that USP in hand. He has to try and land a few lucky shots onto Rush here. Will eventually best him through the door, but he can't recover that weapon safely. Trying to land the shot. Actually gets the follow-up as well. Takes down Naf, and it's just left on Stanislaw. But AK-47 in hand, he should be able to slay him very easily. Can Stiko make him hit the DECK? Tries to push on towards that site, wants to try and tap the bomb. Actually upgrades to an M4 as well. Has to go back for the audio cube, but Stanislaw, no fear, just does pop out and takes him down.
Yeah, I have to say these rounds have been excessively expensive, but they have still won 5 rounds in a row, so they still built up enough bank to where they're not going to suffer too much from these rounds. But I have to say, if you're Optic, you have to kind of be breaking a sweat here a little bit because some of these rounds have definitely spun out of control, only for them to recover just at the very end. Definitely put a lot of stress on you when you're not winning rounds comfortably. And now we're going to see a double op set up here from HellRaisers. I would expect Oscar to kind of keep his same long A Halls position, which is Optic probably is going to be aware of, but they may not expect Stiko to also have one here on that B platform. So that could be the thing that catches Optic off guard in this round. As you can see, Mixwell's perfectly positioned for Oscar. He's very aware of that play going on, but I think Stiko can definitely have a chance to do something here.
Yeah, Bondek. He's not had the best chances of defending drop down so far. They have been able to overwhelm him quite a lot. It depends if they can repeat history once again, though, and just barrage their way through. Doesn't even seem like he has to worry about that confrontation right now as they begin to back off and actually focus their initiative towards that A bomb site. Stiko should be able to get a free frag here. We'll be able to do it with a juicy little flick on towards Naf as he just lags him through the door. We see Angel coming into the fold as well. The spam coming in. He just gains his time, just waiting on top of Matrix. The push coming out. He will spot Daps as well, but he can't quite connect the shots just yet. And somehow Mixwell was actually able to best him from a very awkward angle. On that elevated position, Oscar tries to bring it back into a favourable situation, but it's not working out too well. He will be overwhelmed by Mixwell and Co as they just charge their way past him, tapping bullets all up and down his chest cavity. Zero. He's actually in a very juicy position to go big, but it's not going to matter. Mixwell single-handedly, he's just taking control of the site now. Stiko wants to try and bring it back, but he is struggling. It just goes down to one man. Rush. He's in a horrible situation. He will be caught out. And Stiko, more like Sicko in that situation because he's just got a free K.
I mean, obviously his 3 kills were huge, but it's also important that Zero was kind of in a stone that went unturned. When Optic were pushing into that side, they didn't really check that corner, able to get that surprise kill, really put a stop to Optic's chances of bringing that round back in. So well played there from HellRaisers, able to stay pretty even throughout the round, then right there at the end making up some big plays. So that's a round for HellRaisers. They do need to be a bit concerned about having their money reset, especially with the double op investment. It's pretty expensive. Optic going to see if they can't, you know, get past that here. So of course they still have plenty of money to buy, but this half could still go either way at this point. You know, Optic aren't in a comfortable lead. You know, you really want to be getting closer to double digits on a T-side half on Cobblestone to really feel good about the half. So they're still a couple of rounds away from doing that.
Yeah, there's still a lot of life left in both of these teams. A lot of potential as well. Psycho is going to be boosted up here towards Olof, waiting for the peak to come out. If he does actually try and take the face, Mixwell has the angle on lockdown and will easily be able to best him in that aim battle. Good stuff coming out there. Bondic as well in a very awkward situation right now, trying to focus towards drop-down. Rush has already been able to slide his way in, and the push is coming out towards that B-bomb site. He's going to be overwhelmed right now. All the audio cues, the pit-pat, the footsteps, the nades going in to try and zone out the site. Nice use of the Molotovs as well to force anyone that's playing from that tree position down. Here we go, Rush beginning to rattle off those shots. Somehow actually gets the 2K spray down. First one going to Angel and the follow-up towards Zero. This is looking grand so far. Oscar so close to the action, but he's making it work, using this AWP like a shotgun somehow. Gets that frag on towards Naf, but it's nowhere near going to be enough. It's just left on Bondic in a 1v4. Russia Mixwell so very low, but he's still got to find the try and get the frags. Bounces his way through, B-hopping like an absolute crazy man. And now he's just got to reposition and try and do whatever he can, but it's not going to work out that well for him. Stanislaw eventually bests him.
Great round there from Optic. We were talking about Rush being very quiet early on in this half because the numbers haven't really been there. He's starting to pick it up a little bit. And if there's any doubts about Mixwell, he's certainly been delivering 12 and 8. Also got to give a lot of props to Stanislaw, almost at 20 frags right now. He's been a guy that's been really good online, but at some of his LAN performances with Optic, he was really hit or miss. Like, he'd have a good map, but he also has some pretty poor maps, so it's good to see him off to a good start. That round, you know, Oscar had a chance to do a little bit of work with the app, only got 1 kill, though, otherwise pretty dominant. Now their money's reset in the last round of the half, and so they don't have much to work with. And Optic, knowing that, just going to try to slam into this B-bomb site and see if they can't go ahead in this half 10-5.
They want to just try and brute force their way out, once again using these Molotovs to force anyone out of a advantageous position. It's looking good so far. Angel does want to try and bring it back a little bit, though. Gets that open run towards Daps and hasn't been taken down just yet, but I spoke too soon. The headshot comes in from Rush. Absolutely crisp stuff, and it's just left on Bondic and Oscar. Two of the really strong guys over on that HellRaisers side, but even then, they're not in a great position. They have been able to scavenge these UMPs, and they're making them work absolutely fantastically. Unfortunately, Oscar will be sent off to the Burns ward. It's destroyed by Rush's Molotov there, and it's just left on one man now. Bondic wants to try it and decide the fate of HellRaisers into this half. For the peak to come out, no one is going to greet him just yet. Tiptoes round, will actually get the spray down, the headshot on towards Naf, and it's a 1v1 all on Rush. Is he going to be able to follow it up? It'd be a great display for him, but unfortunately, he won't be able to do it. Rush bides his time and eventually puts him down.
So good half from Optic, 10-5, but it's a bit deceiving. Some of those rounds were really close, even rounds where HellRaisers didn't have much invested into it. They were getting it down to a lot of 1v1 situations. So the way these rounds played out very easily could have been a much different score that could have even been more heavily in favor of HellRaisers, in fact, coming out of that. So while Optic can definitely be happy with a 10-5 half, that's a pretty good half from the T side of Cobblestone, especially if they can get pistol in the second half. It's one of those things where you do have to have some concern on how much you did let those rounds kind of spiral out of control a little bit before you reeled it back in. As we're taking a look at the scoreboard here, you can definitely see that Oscar was a bit limited with that op. He didn't really get to use a whole lot. He had that one big quad kill round, but that was half his frags for the entire half. So that's certainly something to think about. Meanwhile, you look over at the Optic side of things, Stanislaw having a great game. Mixwell so far in his debut has, you know, looked up the snuff, looked exactly what we expected. Rush, I think he was 4 and 8 at one point, into the half 12 and 12, and had a nice little clutch there at the end to get the 10th round. So I think that he recovered pretty well in the half. Other than that, though, I would just say pretty dominant there for Optic. They're certainly happy they got that pistol round because, like I said, it could have been a much different half with so many 1v1s that happened. So, yeah, I think this game is a bit closer than what it would appear if you looked at the scoreboard just on the surface.
Yeah, it's definitely been down to the wire countless times. But, I mean, you got to give it to him right now. Stanislaw as well. He's been such a key player throughout every round that Optic actually picked up. If he wasn't getting the entries, he was the late round player that was actually able to keep them in. And I feel like, you know, he was really that defining factor there with the backup of Mixwell, sort of that secondary player to actually help him. It was a really good sort of dynamic combo they had going on.
Right, I mean, Stanislaw is a very versatile rifler. You know, he was using entry fragger roles on some maps like Train and Mirage, but now he's reverted more to a lurking role. Like you saw that one round when he sluck up the mid slope and he got on that B split, which is a pretty huge round. Because of the win and the economic impact going forward. But yeah, like you said, you could also see him in situations where he was just a part of the pack hitting the site and trade fragging really well there to clean up kills after the entry force went in. And so all in all, like I said, a respectable score for Optic. 10 rounds will serve you well. But again, some of those rounds were, you know, a little bit shaky if you're Optic guys. But now we have to see if Optic can do it on the CT side.
Yeah, and this is the thing as well. You've got to worry now. You've got HellRaisers with all this fragging power behind them and that potential to just be this explosive powerhouse that's going to barrage their way in, take what they want, and never give you a chance. And it's going to be quite scary going up against them. I
can guarantee you won't see nearly as many rounds that drag on for the first 45 seconds with not much happening. HellRaisers a much more aggressive team. So we're going to definitely see them taking it to Optic.
It seems like they will be going overly aggressive very early on as well. This headstrong mid push, they just charge their way up, want to see what they can do, and that is a 6 shot coming out from Angel. Immediately as he goes around the corner, spots the head of Daps, and takes him down. Mixwell does come in, but it's only going to be one before he's traded out. Not looking too fantastic, and they're just getting absolutely railed. Everyone is getting destroyed on that Optic game inside. It's just Stanislaw and Naf, the last 2 men left standing, and Oscar. He is hungry, he wants to be fed, and he's just charging his way through, taking a bite out of everyone that's in his way. He will finish that round up with a quad kill.
So another quad kill there for Oscar. This time comes on a pistol round with a Tech 9 rather than the AWP. And that's how HellRaisers gets back into the game. I mean, again, a really close first half despite the 10-5 score. Now, with that win, you can start closing the gap more towards 8-10. And again, the T side's usually pretty favored on this map. So they're definitely put themselves back in position to still be in this map. Optic unable to kind of shut the door on them there with that, so they will have to take a save here. And HellRaisers will look to move this to a closer margin.
Slow stuff right now from the T's. No one's going overly aggressive. I like the actual stat play we see coming out from Optic as well as they send those 4 players over towards side. They will begin to rotate off as they realise this could have been a bit of a bad decision. Everyone beginning to make their way towards that B-bomb site. Giving the game away with these nades to just alert Optic Gaming, so they do have to try and diversify their stack. Oh, nice shots just coming out from Angel as well. Did land a tag. Mixwell only on 1 HP. That's with the ump as well. He eventually gets taken down by the trade coming in there from Oscar. He wants to try and double it up, and he will be able to do so. Rush tucked in behind this rock. Does have the Deagle in his hand, but can he be accurate enough? Struggling right now. The Deagle spam coming out. The old panic play, and it's not really worked out too well at all. He eventually does go down, and it's just left on Stanislaw. We see him being a key player for that Optic game inside previously, but can he do it once again on this CT half? Only a P250 in hand. There is a player on the close angle. It's going to be 0, but he just pops up and takes him down.
So about as clean as it gets for a round victory there for HellRaisers, not losing any players. So they will move up to 7-10. Don't have to worry about any rebuying. So Bondic able to save a lot of money going forward with that AK already in his hands. And so Optic, likely saving this round again. So shouldn't really have too much to talk about until the opening gun round, as HellRaisers should be able to push this to 8-10. Unless they run into some type of stack, which we do see, of course, everyone playing over on the A-bomb site, but it seems like it's going to be avoided.
Yeah, that B-bomb site, a welcome map there. If they dare to attempt to take it, they can have it for free. And Daps is very aggressive towards mid right now, but he only went on his lonesome, realized there was only 1 player up there, and has made the call known. Everyone on Optic Gaming does begin to rotate back off towards the B-bomb site. Yeah, this is going to go down now. Reposition, just holding drop down fairly effectively so far. Stanislaw actually does pick up that frag on towards Oscar. 0 trades it out and goes in for some more. 3K on the board. Mid-2K, actually, it would be Angel that came in from behind that was able to dispatch Nafly with that UMP.
So HellRaisers do close the gap, 8-10. Op already in the hands of Oscar, but they do have a Galil and a couple of umps still in play, so that's going to be, them trying to carry it over into the next round, just, trying to save a little bit of money, being conservative there for the long stretch. We are going to have Optic full buy him, force across the board. Optic is going to be on Mixwell right away, but he's going to have to deal with Oscar. We are going to be seeing him playing in a rotation position, it appears. Looking to take the mid duel, and he does take out Oscar. That's a big kill to get. Already a big piece off the board here for HellRaisers, and they're trying to act quickly, but Rush is shutting them down. That's a triple kill at the drop-down room. So HellRaisers' fast-paced play this time not going to pan out.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Really good defense coming out there from Optic, being able to just tear their way through everyone that came in front of them, and it's just left on the Lone Ranger. Styko trapped at top mid right now. The bomb nowhere near in a recoverable situation as well. Safely guarded by Rush. This really isn't a great situation to be in. I wouldn't be surprised if he does just opt to back off here.
Yeah, this should be a done deal. Optic should be moving to 11-8. Not much that he can really do here with this op. Will, of course, look to get some kills. There's so much time on the clock to be able to save it at this point would be pretty rough, but we'll see how it pans out here as just Rush being able to shut down that drop push is big. I mean, Optic know what they're going to get. They know they're going to get these aggressive plays, but look at this. He's getting a couple of op kills. He's increasing his chances of at least holding on to this the next round, but if Optic fold here and lose this round, that would be insane.
This would just be mind-boggling if he's allowed to even get another kill on the board right now. Already, too many frags have gone his way. Tries to get the third. Mixwell just tried to bait him out. Played perfectly with Daps. Daps comes in and strikes him down.
So they're going to go a double op setup now. They do elect to pick up that fallen op, so I'm sure Mixwell will keep his. Naf is usually the other guy who picks up an op, so probably going to keep Mixwell in the exact same position you saw last round, maybe long A halls, but they're going to have that op on the back of Naf as well, probably playing that B platform. But of course, still a full buy here from HellRaisers because they were so conservative in the last round. They still can get an op on Oscar and get full AKs and utility across the board. So this is definitely still going to be a round that's going to be a bit more difficult for Optic to deal with. Mixwell takes a lot of damage there at the door. I'm not sure if he got hit by Oscar's op to the door, someone spammed him down, but he's certainly going to have to retreat. Only 15 HP left in play for the rest of the round.
Yeah, really not a great situation to be in. Only a measly few seconds into the round. And it's look. Also back at this close angle as well, so if a potential mid push does unfold, he will be there as the first line of defense, the front line infantry. There's no stuff on the board right now from HellRaisers. They don't want to go overly aggressive. They will just be waiting, seeing if there could be another information play from Optic, but they don't seem like they want to go for anything too crazy right now.
They're going to go for the pot flash to make sure that there's no one aggressive here on the long A halls. We can see that Mixwell's playing it pretty passively with that low HP, just looking to see if he can get an angle on someone down the lane. Now actually back all the way off to the bomb site here. So smart moves, Mixwell just playing with his health, kind of realizing that he can't take too many risks. Naf still has that op on the back of the B platform. I think HellRaisers is diverting back to this area, so Naf could have a chance at a free frag on the first player who crosses, and that could give them the slight edge in the round.
Yeah, posted up and up, great angle. It just depends if he's going to be able to react fast enough. The flashbang does go out from Psycho, it will blind him, and he just repositions off the back. He'll stay on towards Olaf and goes back for another peek, but Oscar was there. And he was slightly too fast as well. They finally are able to actually get drop-down control. They shut down Daps this time as he was attempting to defend it with his life. Rush, unfortunately, on the site, but he's still going to be doing what he does best, popping heads right now as he takes down Oscar. Bondic comes in as well. Stanislaw and Rush back and forth as they've been able to defend this site absolutely gloriously. It's all on Bondic in a 1v2. What's he going to be able to achieve here? The nade goes out to try and force Rush to peek. It's not going to transfer that much damage over. Nothing to really write home about. Time is ticking away as well. He has to react quick. He will be able to best him, but coming in from behind the spray. So close to getting Stanislaw. He has no time to plant. He has to get the frag now. The flashbang goes in, he gets blinded, tagged off the back of it so he can get out the door, and he will barely take him down, but it's too late.
Stanislaw just realizing where the clock was and just trying his best to stay alive, and he is able to do so for long enough. But here's the big play. It's been Rush. It's another big individual play from him on this B bomb site. He had a big triple kill in the drop down room in the opening gun round, and that's a round where HellRaisers was probably going to grab it. I mean, you saw Naf went for a risky re-peek on the B platform when he lost positioning because of the flash. He was trying to see if he could catch that player off guard. Oscar waiting there with open arms, thanking him for the re-peek and the free frag. But there you have it. Rush stepping up again. Again, he started out very quiet this game. Now you can see the numbers there, 97 ADR. He's back into a positive KD ratio. He's had 2 big plays on this CT side. He has his team in the lead now, 12-8. And now we're going to have a timeout here coming out of HellRaisers, I would imagine, to kind of talk things out.
Yeah, try and work out what's going wrong, but you're absolutely right. Rush has really sort of become this really critical player now that's been able to shut people down early on, especially his drop-down control has been fantastic. And then towards that B-bomb site, he's been the defining factors that's actually zoned them out completely. There was this massive leak, and all of a sudden they've realized how to plummet.
Again, this is what we've been waiting for in the NA scene from Rush. He's the guy that many people have thought is a little bit underrated on the entry fragger role for this team. You know, like I said, Elise, Nitro, these are the big names when it comes to the aggressive rifling role, but we've been waiting for Rush to step up. We've seen it online. So far, he's doing pretty good in this game, despite the slow start, especially on that CT side, actually, has been where he's really gotten his most impressive plays in this game. Other than that, I mean, just Optic in its entirety is playing really well right now. Again, the first half was a bit shaky, a bit deceiving. Yeah, they won 10-5, but there was a lot of rounds that looked like they could go the other way. But so far here on the CT side, they've been getting the job done. You know, they haven't allowed too many rounds. You know, they're staying ahead. You know, they're dealing with Oscar actually really effectively. He hasn't really done a whole lot this game.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even on his CT side, he wasn't able to be that sort of organic role that we're used to seeing, where he is just popping off all the time and getting these really critical fags. It was quite slow. He wasn't allowed to go on those more sort of, you know, flamboyant kills and really set the pace. And even on his T side now, it's been quite limited because they've been shut down quite early. It doesn't matter what sort of plays they go for. With the over-aggressive early plays that we saw early on, it seemed like there was potential for that to be sort of the defining factor. If they do just brute strength their way in, Optic seem to crumble on the defense, but they've snapped out of that now. They know how to counter it, and it doesn't matter what they're bringing to the table. Optic seem to be switched on and actually quite drilled in countering it immediately.
I mean, they're definitely limiting his impact. I mean, he had that one op frag on Naf in the previous round, but then Rush shut everything else down. I think another round he had the op, Mixwell picked him at middle. So he hasn't really been able to just have free reign on the map like he's used to having. And I think it's just Optic. They know the positions he likes to play. And you could see the way that they've been setting up is to avoid those types of scenarios, especially in the first half. You could see that the way they played the long A halls where Oscar is normally going to be with the op. He's one of those ops that does seem a little bit more static, like we're going to see Cash later, for instance. He loves just to opt the B-bomb site many of the rounds, like a high percentage of the time he's going to be there. So I think that's just Optic having a little bit of a read there, helped him out in the first half. In the second half, it's really just been, we haven't seen Oscar with too many opportunities yet, to be fair. So there's certainly still room for him to really step up and start bringing HellRaisers back into the game. In fact, that could be one of the key things that helps HellRaisers get back in the game, is if he can start performing and then find some frags. But so far, Optic, they've put together a good formula for success on this map. You know, this was, in fact, the pick of HellRaisers. So, you know, they need to deliver on it. And so far, it's not quite happening. They've had some real close ones, but it hasn't really quite panned out enough.
Yeah, and I mean, this would be great as well because it gives them that breathing room. I mean, if Optic are able to find their way through here, this is what you were saying, you know, you feel that there is genuinely that space where they can actually pick this best of 3 up. And this is the best way to do it. You come in strong, you get that first map, you get that sort of breathing room behind you. And it seems like you can see round after round where they begin to start winning them, the confidence is coming in there. You can see it starts to slow through in the way they're playing.
I mean, think about some of the concerns that people would have coming into this game, watching Optic play, and why HellRaisers have an advantage. Because it's totally fair to say that HellRaisers should be a favorite. They really should have been. I mean, you think of Oscar, you think of Bondic coming in. You know, these are heavy hitters. And Optic, they haven't done a whole heck of a lot on land in a very long time. The last time they did something on land was back in November of last year at our last finals, right? Since then, they've dropped the ball when it comes to the minor, losing the splice. That's crazy. You know, they lost to Winter Fox in the LCQ there. Their online has been hit or miss. With Mixwell, they look pretty good, but the sample size is so small. They haven't played so many games with him. And some of the concerns you would have was, does Mixwell fit well on this team on land? So far, yes. It has to be the answer to that question. Granted, so far, it's just been, you know, half of one map. So still a lot to play to see if that continues. Rush has really stepped up his play. He's looked good. So all the concerns you might have about Optic so far have been alleviated. You know, they look like they're doing the things they would need to win this series.
Yeah, everyone that needs to be popping off right now for Optic is doing their job quite well. But you can see as well, it seems just the structure is there. It's not like, you know, we see misplays actually coming out from them. Everything seems to be quite drilled right now, which is different to what I expected. I thought we would see a few issues, obviously, with the fact they have recently had that player change and everything comes in, sort of, it does bear down on you. But everyone seems to have adapted very quickly.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. Going into this, we all knew that Optic was going to be more tactically sound than HellRaisers. HellRaisers is going to be that more aggressive team, just very execute heavy, very in your face, you know, very early executes very often. Optic was going to have more depth. They were going to have the more diverse play. They were going to have that slower, more methodical style. They could throw in the faster executes. But still, with this map being the way that it is, and the fact that, in all honesty, on Cobblestone, you literally can just 5-man hit B, and you're probably going to win a pretty high percentage of those just because of the way the map's designed. And with HellRaisers having the type of fraggers that they have, you'd expect they still would have a pretty good chance in this game. But so far, particularly Rush has shut them down on that side of the map. Those 2 big rounds, I think, were kind of the key examples of that. But again, there's still a lot of CS left to be played in this map. There's still certainly a chance for HellRaisers to climb right back into this. You know, all it takes is, you know, 1 key round from Oscar again with an op, and they're right back into it, or someone like Bondic or someone else stepping up and making a big play with their rifle. You know, they're definitely not out of this by any, you know, form.
Yeah, and that's the thing you've got to take into consideration. Well, off the back of this pause, they've had time to talk over it and try and work out what was going wrong, get that out, and really come back in strong. So this needs to be, this needs to be a big round. Obviously, they've got a fairly effective buyout. It's not overly amazing, but it's essentially the best they could get out. I
didn't realize the money was this bad for Optic. You can see that they've had to rebuy so many players. These rounds have been quite close. So they're on 3 FAMAS and an UMP right now. Granted, HellRaisers is a bit limited as well, but they do have that op on Oscar, something Optic don't have. And this could be the round now where Oscar's going to have an edge.
So everyone's setting up with these smokes right now to try and divide that site into 2 so they can leak out, try and shut it down from the inside. Will it work out? Smokes do go down, landing fairly effective for now, but there does seem to be a small gap, and Rush, he doesn't even care. He's just going to charge straight through. Naf eventually playing off the back of the small gap as well. Will peek in, takes down Styko, and that's already 2 men gone for the HellRaisers sides. This isn't looking like a great round at all. Things just slipping away from under them immediately. Naf has to try and pop out as well, wanting to try and make this round a little bit better, but it's not going their way. Angel brings it back into an equal situation. It's a 3 versus 3 right now. Mixwell, player from behind the rock, just wants to see if someone's going to go overly aggressive, go for a peek, thinking they can try and make this even better for HellRaisers, and Angel's going to be the man to do so. There will be an immediate trade. Still back down to a 2 versus 2. That AWP on Oscar as well. He'll jump down to a less fantastic position, but he's trying to make something out of it. Actually finds the opener towards Stanislaw. And there we see Daps using the UMP as he just spams his way through him, and he's only got 1 man left to deal with. If he picks this up, it'd be absolutely mind-boggling. He's got a little bit of utility as well, and he has that all-important kit, so he can bide his time right now as he just goes aggressive, just playing ring around the roses with Bondic. Bondic peeks out, the spam comes in, and he eventually bests him and goes in for the defuse. That's going to be another round for Optic.
I would love to know how many rounds have come down to a 1 versus 1. It feels like there's been so many, and it also feels like Optic have come out with almost all of them. That just goes to show you how close this game really is, even if the scoreboard doesn't quite reflect it. So another big round from Optic. I mean, Angel made a huge play there. Those were 2 big entries from him to open up that B bomb site. It was looking pretty good there. Even Oscar popping off with the op a little bit as well. But again, it kind of comes down to the wire, and Optic are the ones to be just kind of a step ahead to get it to 13-8. But I mean, again, their money is so poor. You can see they're on 2 FAMAS and Mag 7 right now. Mixwell does get an op. So HellRaisers are actually better off right now as far as equipment value goes, funny enough.
Grouping up right now. Once again, they want to try and go for this mid-aggression. It's worked out fairly effective for them in the past, but will they be able to do it again? We do see the elevated position in use as well there on that A-bomb site. One man in Angel just lurking behind, waiting to see if Optic will get overly aggressive, but they are just holding their ground very firmly. Stanislaw just waiting, playing this anti-flash angle. He will actually peek around at the wrong time when this elevated position does begin to spam down, gets the 1 opener on towards Psycho. His teammate's there to try and trade it out and does a good job, but he can't quite reposition, gets picked off by Angel. Again, it's back into a 3 versus 3. It's always so down to the wire with these 2. Mixwell is going to be able to land that wall bang on towards Angel. Rush comes into the fold as he bests Spondic, and Oscar is going to have to go absolutely insane right now. He'll have to turn to a demigod to somehow be able to pick up this round. He's just waiting to see if the peaks will come out, but Rush plays off the back of the flashbang, pops his head, and recovers the orb.
And again, that was a pretty back and forth round where HellRaisers had a chance there. They actually cleared out Stanislaw and Daps evenly. A 3-on-3 that's going to favor HellRaisers. But then right there at the end, Rush somehow able to actually get out of balcony, get behind the APC. Now you have Mixwell being able to watch the cross with an op, and you have Rush standing tall behind the truck. He's able to get a couple of kills. So again, it's Rush actually making another pretty big play on the CT side. It's like the 3rd, round where he's had a multi-frag that's had a huge impact. And now look at this, HellRaisers, they kind of have to save for last, so to speak. They force buy up a little bit here, and look at this, Optic again, it's Rush, and again, he's tense firm and holds off the attack, and HellRaisers have already folded on this round, so Optic will move up to map point. HellRaisers need 7 in a row to force an overtime. So it's looking pretty good there. As so far, the green walls stood tall.
Yeah, I mean...
Had to get that reference in there at least once, right?
I mean, this is just mental. Like, I mean, I don't know, dude. This is the defense from Rush as well, even though it is on the eco. He's been so on point with his headshots, just on the openers he's been getting. Everything seems so structured as well on the AOX have been playing. They've not been going for these ridiculous faces. They really have just been playing standard Counter-Strike and playing it out fantastically, and it's looking good. Mixwell will be able to shut down Angel. But now, as you were saying, they're in a massive deficit, a horrendous situation to be in, and they're going to have to buy. I mean, they just have to. They have no breathing room right now. It's essentially do or die until they make it back.
But I still can't count HellRaisers out. Oscar has an op in his hands. You never know what might happen at that point. And again, these rounds have been so close. All it takes is a couple of those to go in HellRaisers' favor instead of Optic. Maybe they finally win one of these 1v1s at the end of the round, and they're right back into it. The problem is Optic have so consistently won those types of situations. It's hard to believe that HellRaisers are going to string together 7 of those to get this into overtime, but we'll see how it works out here. Stanislaw gets a little bit aggressive there at the long A halls, but quickly backs up when he hears the op of Oscar.
For the spam right now, seeing if anyone would be playing close to the door so we can just pick them off with a little bit of a lucky frag, but no one's going to be looking down in today, so that won't be happening. I'm just waiting for the push to come out, seeing if anyone's going to come his way. Perhaps as well, sitting by the top of the wall. Flashbang goes in to try and buy him a little bit more time to buy over here. Still a minute on the clock, and this could be really bad for the side of Optic as they actually do get that pick on towards Stanislaw. Luckily, Mixwell will be able to trade it out, and then has to back off towards his teammate on the site. That was a very nice, actually, opening pick as well coming out.
So 4-on-4 here. Even trade thus far over on the A side of the map. It's Stico here, able to get out of the window. Rush, I don't know if he heard that or not, so I'm not sure if the information will be there. So he has a chance to kind of flank these A players and open this side up. No one's really rotated off B to notice this. I think Mixwell is aware. You can see he's setting up for this. He's aware it's an option, but will he time it right? Now, it's definitely up at this point.
he's actually able to get that frag on towards Oscar as well, but Rush comes in with a headshot on towards Thico. It's just Zero and Bondic left. They have to go insane right now to be able to bring it back, and it's not looking like it will go that way. This could be Optic Gaming closing it out. 10 seconds left on the clock. Bondic has to be so very quick to recover that bomb and get it planted. It really can't happen. 5 seconds, he's going to hit the ground, and then you have it. Optic Gaming are going to be able to pick that one up. What an insane display there. A 16-8 score on the first map of Cobblestone.
Yeah, really well done there from Optic. You know, living up to the hype that they've been building for themselves online. Mixwell showing that he can do it on land. I mean, he showed it at ESL Barcelona with G-Bots against Fnatic and stuff. We didn't know how he would fit in on Optic. It was looking pretty good in all the online play, but will it happen here against a higher caliber team in a LAN environment? And it certainly did. And he was doing it with all the guns. He was entering with AKs on the T side, so he's proven his worth there. He was opting well on the CT side throughout the entire